It's Lakers Talk with Allen Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
It's been a long road trip for the Lake Show, but they're finally coming home.
And there's LeBron with it. Three-pointer, LeBron, top of the key, good.
This long road trip is finally over for the Lakers.
The Lakers win 5 of 7 games on this road trip, and now they'll come home to play 5 straight.
Any way you want to cut this one, 5-2 on this road trip, I think is a fantastic way of coming back to Staples Center.
From the home of the 17-time world champs in downtown LA, this is Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Allen Sliwa.
What is going on, Laker fans? What is going on? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Lakers Talk tonight. So just finished Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN. Now we'll do a little half-hour social show here, and then that's it. That's all we got for the rest of the night. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. As you guys can see with, just technology these days. We got all our topics on the bottom screen right there. We got a team of, I think, 60 people in the background working on the show. Minimum 60. Could be 80. All right, so I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Okay, so let's kind of get things started off here. All right, so I got the restream, or I got the chat going on right now. I'll kind of look at that as we go and as the show progresses. But I want to start off the show just giving my overall thoughts on the Lakers 5-2 road trip. Okay, so 5-2. Now listen, I don't want to say I thought they'd go 5-2 coming into the road trip, but I thought they'd go 5-2. Now, how they got there, completely different than I thought. I didn't think obviously we'd lose to the Detroit Pistons. I thought actually we'd lose that first game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and we didn't. They obviously took care of business against Boston and all these other teams, but overall, I really genuinely feel this way. You have to. You got to feel good about that road trip. You really do. 5-2 against 3 really good matchups. I mean, kind of statement games. Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Boston Celtics. Those are 3 of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. So to grab 2 of those games, yes, you lost one against Philly by 1, and you only beat Boston in the other game by 1. But this is how the NBA works, in a 72-game stretch. This is how it's going to be. So I wouldn't worry about those 2 losses that the Lakers had. Philly's a good team. Philly has got a very good chance of representing the Eastern Conference in the in the NBA Finals, as do the Milwaukee Bucks, as do the Boston Celtics. I personally think it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets, and the Lakers will get, February 18th, they'll get their chance against the Brooklyn Nets. But looking at this road trip overall, 5-2, I feel good about it. John Allen came on the broadcast on Lakers Talk, which, by the way, if you want 2 hours of Los Angeles Lakers Talk basketball, you can download it on the ESPN app or on iTunes. John Allen came on, Brad Turner came on, but Ireland kind of said the same thing. Listen, you got to feel good about 5-2, and Lakers now through 22 games, probably 30% of the season, they're sitting at 16-6. I thought, even that loss to the Pistons, which was an awful loss, they looked tired. Back-to-back games. Every team that they played, they're looking up to play the Lakers. I mean, you don't think that game in Cleveland meant something to the Cavaliers? Of course it did. The defending champions are coming to your home. It's LeBron and Anthony Davis. That's how the Atlanta Hawks felt. That each one of these games that even weren't the premier matchups, it meant something to the opposing team. So with all that being said, I think you got to feel good about that 5-2 road trip. That's how I feel. All right, let's see what a couple Laker fans here are saying on the 5-2 road trip. All right, somebody wants a couple fist bumps. Got you guys. Somebody already calling me out saying Nets are overrated. Okay. Lakers can't beat the Clippers and the Nets. I don't know who this dude is, but who invited him. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, so Okay. As you guys know, some of you are going to know on the chat. Some of you guys are not going to know on the chat. Tonight, we all kind of are Brooklyn Nets fans. Okay? There's no other way to put it. I don't know about you guys. Keith Van Horn. I might go buy a Keith Van Horn jersey. a little bit later today. Some Laker fans might be saying, "Oh, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? You love the Brooklyn Nets." Go look at the schedule today. Go look at the scoreboard today. Okay? It's actually a good game between the Clippers and the Nets. Got to get some L's for the Clippers. They're starting to feel good about themselves. Got to get them some L's. And Lakers kind of sneak up there on those standings. So that's kind of the goal there. Okay, so Jared Dudley put out a tweet. Put out a tweet after the Lakers beat the Melvin McGee on Facebook. Says 16-6, not too shabby. Okay, so after Lakers beat Boston, Jared Dudley put out a tweet and said that's the best win of the year for the Lakers. Okay? Best win of the year. Simple as that. Jared Dudley hasn't been playing. He has an injury. Him and Kostas have been out for last couple of weeks or so. I think Jared Dudley's quad. Don't quote me on that. But, Dudley's been out. So he says best win of the year was that win against the Celtics. So now I'll ask Laker fans out there. Lakers have 16 wins. What's the best win of the year so far this year? I already have the best loss. Or a best loss. I already have the worst loss for the Lakers this season. But let's just do best win of the year. Do you agree with Jared Dudley? Is it the win against the Boston Celtics? Is that the best win of the season so far? Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let me actually just say this real quick. By the way, I got people already telling me where they're tuning in from. I haven't done. It's too early. Let me tell you when. Not yet. Let me just say this real quick. Kingman310 says Celtics for sure. So 2 games come to mind as the best wins of the year for the Lakers. First of all, you have a loss against the Clippers. You lost to Portland. So there were a couple big games early on. You lost both of those games. A lot of the other games you played, Houston, Oklahoma City, Memphis, okay, all those don't matter. Spurs don't matter. I think it actually just comes down to 2 teams. I think it was either the win against the Bucks or it was the win against the Celtics. I think it only comes down to those 2 games. The reason why I'm going to agree with Jared Dudley is actually a very simple reason why I'm going to agree. The first game against the Milwaukee Bucks, you were just starting your road trip. So I think the team was fresh. I think they were feeling good. They were still undefeated on their road trip. And there really wasn't that much adversity. It was a good win. Don't get me wrong. So solid win against the Milwaukee Bucks. I think both Michael and I thought they'd lose that game, or at least I thought they'd lose that game. Maybe Michael thought they'd win that game, but I thought they'd lose that game to the Milwaukee Bucks. So that was a great win. But I think why Boston, that win stands out, aside from that's your rival, aside from every Laker fan wants to beat the Boston Celtics, you had lost 2 games in a row. You had lost against the Philadelphia 76ers. You lost against the Detroit Pistons. And I felt like the Lakers, that was an important game for them. Plus, you were deep into the road trip. You were already, that was your 6th game of the road trip. So you're almost 2 weeks of being away from home. You can definitely tell that they were, tired on that back-to-back against Philly and against Detroit, especially the game against Detroit where AD didn't play. So I got to agree with Jared Dudley here. If I got to pick which game was the better win or the best win of the season, I'm going Celtics. Okay, let me read off a couple here. All right. Ali says best win was against Philly. We lost that game. Mike Rojo, yes versus the Celtics. Lakers fan 24 says the Bucks. Lakers Wisdom says Bucks was a good game. That's it. No, nothing else. Just nobody wants to expand or anything. Wants to give me a little bit extra juice to work with here. Let's keep going here. Best win of the year when the Lakers almost beat themselves versus the Celtics. That's Alex Trin on YouTube. I see what you did there, Alex. Lakers were up 7 points with about a minute and a half left to go. And then all of us almost had a heart attack as the game progressed there. AD had that turnover at the end. Kemba Walker missed a shot. Alex Caruso hustled back on defense. So Lakers almost lost that game, but they won the game. So what do you want me to tell you? They won the game. Jacob Vogel, best win so far this season was Lakers versus the Celtics. Okay, so I think most Laker fans here are kind of in the realm of Celtics was the best win of the season. Jay Smooth, I think the Bucks win was the best. Celtics were healthy. By the way, let me say real quick about Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jesus, those two dudes were freaking ridiculous. They really were ridiculous. I think one of those guys shot 12 of 18 from the field. The other guy shot 13 of 19. What the hell? Okay, quick shout out here. Power Pro Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Appreciate their partnership. Really, really do appreciate their partnership. So we're doing the social now, right? So I do Lakers Talk 7 to 9. That ends. I come here and do the social show. A lot of these shows we're able to do them because of partners like Power Pro Heating and Air. So if you're tuning in, I know we got people tuning in from all over LA, all over the country, all over the world. But if you're local and you're tuning here in LA, just you got a plumbing issue, let Power Pro take care of it. You got your heater's not working properly, let Power Pro take care of it. Just let them be the ones. Go to powerproplumbing.com. They'll handle all your needs on that front. All right. Okay. Before I get into the rotations, let me do some roll call here. Let's do some roll call. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Give you a shout out on air. By the way, the worst loss of the year for the Lakers. Worst loss. Everybody's gonna think, oh, it's the Detroit Pistons. No, it's the freaking Warriors. Lakers were up 19 at home against the Golden State Warriors. They were up 16 at halftime. They blew the lead. For the love of God, Michael Thompson, put the game in the refrigerator. Granted, Michael Thompson, I think, puts, 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and it's a 6-point game. Michael's already putting the game in the refrigerator. But that was, in my opinion, the worst loss of the season. Lebanon in the house. Appreciate you tuning in. Look at all the way out in Lebanon. Thank you for tuning in. Philippines, North Hollywood, Covina, Melvin from Covina, California. Thank you for tuning in. Philly in the house, Baltimore, Maryland, San Francisco. Someone's at Chase Center. I don't know if I believe you, Alex. I don't know if I believe you there. Third in Fairfax, thank you for tuning in. Central Valley, California, San Francisco in the house, North Hollywood, Bend, Oregon, Sydney, Australia, third in Fairfax, Baltimore, Maryland, Netherlands. I mean, I'm telling you guys, Laker fans everywhere. Texas in the house, Jamaica in the house. Are you kidding me right now? Thank you for being a part of the show, Jamaica. David Tran says he's at King Taco with James Harden. Come on, man. Come on, man. Why you got to do that? Why you got to go throw James Harden in the mix with King Taco? Come on, bro. It's not cool. All right. I am also, by the one that says that James Harden and I came in at the same BMIs on training camp. What Harden looked like in training camp? What was that? Redondo, appreciate you tuning in. Colorado Springs repping the champs. Look at A. Wilkes on YouTube. Dominican Republic, Kingston, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Riverside, California, Yosemite. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Okay, if I miss you, just kind of keep these rolling in. I'll try to get to you as the show progresses. Century City, thank you for tuning in. Lawndale, Paul in Echo Park. Paul, I don't know if you're calling me out. I don't know if you're calling me out right now saying, hey, Al, I'm in Echo Park. Let's get out on a court. When you're done with the show, I know it's going to take you about an hour to stretch. Probably another 30 minutes to shoot around, and then you're going to be winded and you're actually not going to play. But just be careful when you start repping Echo Park, because I will come out there. I will come out there. North Hills, thank you for being a part of the show. Bangkok, Haiti, San Jose, Costa Rica. I appreciate you guys all being a part of the show. I got to move on here. I can't keep just Slow down. So, last game for the Lakers. Last 2 games for the Lakers. This is what I've noticed. Coach Vogel kind of tightening up those rotations for the Lakers. 2 players did not come into the game in these last 2 games that typically will get some kind of playing time. So no Wesley Matthews, no Markieff Morris. So both those players don't play for the Lakers. So what does that mean? That means guys like Alex Caruso, more playing time. Guys like Talen Horton-Tucker, more playing time. Even Montrezl Harrell, just kind of give that some thought, and I'm sure Montrez will keep kind of dipping into Marc Gasol's playing time. So let me just kind of give my thoughts on this. And John and I talked a little bit about this as well. Kind of like the tighter rotations, got to be honest. I know what Wesley Matthews brings to the table. I know what Markieff Morris brings to the table. And by the way, I do think both of those guys will have opportunities where their number is called, and I think they will come through. They're both vets. They're both professionals. They're both trying to win an NBA championship. Markieff already has one. Wesley Matthews, I think this is his 12 or 13th season in the NBA. You know, this means everything to him to try and win an NBA championship. So with all that being said, I like more Talen Horton-Tucker. That's the truth. I like more Talen Horton-Tucker. I like Talen Horton-Tucker getting more opportunities. Is it a little bit of a gamble playing THT more minutes because he's a 20-year-old and he's still trying to figure out things as he goes? Yeah, it's more of a gamble. But I think it's worth the gamble. I think his upside and what he could bring if he hits is a much higher upside than what you already know Wesley Matthews is going to give you. So if Wes Matthews is not getting as much playing time because there's more playing time going towards Talen Horton-Tucker, I'm freaking all in all day long. Okay? So there's one example. Okay, how about Alex Caruso? Someone explain to me how you take Alex Caruso out of a game towards the end of games. You just can't right now. I mean, he's too valuable for the Lakers right now. Lancaster, California, thank you for tuning in. Norwalk, Central Jersey, Russia, Orange County, appreciate you tuning in. I'll keep reading these off as we go, so thank you for tuning in. La Crescenta. So I say all this because Alex Caruso, these last couple of games, listen, I'm doing the post-game show, so I'm going to be looking at the box score. I'm going to see things that stand out. His plus-minus, I swear he's leading the Lakers in plus-minus every single game. Now, does the plus-minus tell the whole story? It does not. But I think it tells somewhat of a story. AC's got to be in games towards the end. He's probably not going to start. He's probably not going to rack up 30 minutes. But I think the tighter the rotations get, it's going to open up more opportunities for a guy like Alex Caruso. It's going to open up more opportunities for a guy like Talen Horton-Tucker. And Coach did this last season. You were never guaranteed minutes. And I thought the way the Lakers started out this season, we're 22 games in now. That's a great sample size there to kind of know what's working and what's not. So I think with all that being said, I think now we have a good understanding, and I think Coach, hey, if you're playing well, you're going to get minutes. If you're not, your minutes are probably going to get cut. And I think that's starting to happen at this stage. And, I use Marc Gasol as an example. Gasol's not a standout player right now for the Lakers. I think he's definitely got his limitations. So maybe now you're going to see more minutes from Montrezl Harrell. So I think the tightened rotations is better for the Lakers. And I'm all in for more Caruso and more THT. Brooklyn, appreciate you tuning in. Okay, let me kind of read off some of these comments here. Montebello, thank you for tuning in. Iran in the house. Look at this. Mexico in the house. All right, enough of where you're tuning in from. Give me some meat here. All right, I got people telling me, hey, Wesley Matthews, the guy's struggling. Yeah, don't give him playing time right now. Aris Rajanto says AC GOAT will always be GOAT. Lake Forest in the house, by the way. Jacob Vogel says AC does the things that don't show up on stat sheets but win games. Jacob Vogel. Is it a burner count for coach? Could be a burner count. This could be a burner count. Bettis, thank you for tuning in. Melvin McGee says Tucker and Caruso both playing some good basketball right now. By the way, I'm going to play this the other way as well. If one of the guys are struggling, like if Taylor Horton-Tucker was such a young player and only 20 years old, it's not like Taylor Horton-Tucker's playing perfect basketball because he's not. There are some games where I'm like, THT is a little lost right now. He doesn't know what he's doing. Turnover prone, kind of driving all over the place, causing some offensive charges, complaining to a ref. And then there's other times where I'm like, that might be the nicest move I see all year from Taylor Horton-Tucker from a 20-year-old. Or he's putting so much pressure on the defense again into the basket. But I think that it's okay to take some chances with a guy like Taylor Horton-Tucker. And if things aren't working out or if he has a couple bad games, okay, sit him back down on the bench. I think there's nothing wrong with that as well. And THT, by the way, had a couple games where he was sitting. Fist pumps right here. Norwalk, thank you for tuning in. Okay, keep going here. Okay, let me take a quick curveball here before I go to my next topic, okay? All right, I got somebody here saying AC Fresh always one step of the game. So somebody said, I'm going to give my, this will be good. Let me just get this real quick. Let me find it. Sometimes the comments come in and I get lost. Okay, somebody wants me to talk about Courtside Karen. Courtside Karen. Okay, guys, let me, I think you guys kind of know me pretty well at this point, right? Kind of know my personality. Sometimes a little dry. So I cannot tell you how much I don't care about this story. I really don't care about the story. I mean, I genuinely don't care about the story. The fact that this gal, Juliana Carlos, got this much run over the last 24 hours, I don't understand it. I don't understand where we are in a world today. I really don't care about the story. I genuinely don't care about the story. The only thing I took from that story was this, is that LeBron James said that that's what he misses about having fans back in arenas. People running their mouth, the booing when he comes into a tough arena. I mean, you guys remember the days back when he was in Miami and it was the Heatles, right? It was Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. Everybody hated the Miami Heat. And when they went and played a road game, you know, at the Garden in New York City or a tough game against the Boston Celtics, so they came here to LA, everybody was booing like no tomorrow. I wanted them to lose every single game. That's the only thing that really came out of that story for me with LeBron was how much he misses that interaction with fans. Remember that dude against in Cleveland, that front office guy that was running his mouth a week ago or whatever the case is, and LeBron just kind of looked at him like, okay, got the whole fourth quarter. I got you. And LeBron came out and had 21 points in the fourth quarter. Cleveland had 19. Sometimes you forget how much these players are motivated by fans. That's what I took out of that story. But all the other in between and the details and the Instagram posts and all the drama and everything else, no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the closing five here. Closing five. Laker fans. Okay, no joke here. I got to be honest with you. John Fish, this is a good one. Kobe loved it when other teams' fans would boo him. Excuse me, Laker fans. It's a live show. Sometimes you guys sneeze. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you could do. Nothing you could do, Laker fans. All right, where was I here? Where was I here? I know all the comments are going to come in. Bless you, all that stuff. Thank you. Okay, thank you for all that. What did I just read that I wanted to hit on? Okay, closing five. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't really figure out the closing five for the Lakers. I average about one sneeze on a live show per month. Okay? So if you go back, right now I'm averaging about one sneeze per month. I do a lot of live shows. You know, after every Lakers game, we do the post-game show after the post-game show. You got to sneeze. What do you want me to do? All right, let's keep going here. I can't figure this out. Nick Bockerman says he's at Viejas Arena. So Nick is kind of playing into me. I went to San Diego State. Nick kind of knows what's going on here. I don't know how to close out. So in the past, we've done this. Where we've talked about the closing five for the Lakers. But now that the season is progressing, I know I got to have LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the lineup. I actually know I got to have Alex Caruso in the lineup. So I'm down to 2 spots left. And I think there's 3 players that can fight for those final 2 spots. It's Montrezl Harrell, it's Dennis Schroeder, and it's KCP. That's not easy to figure out who goes into those final slots. So I did this on 710 when I was doing the Lakers talk show. So I got mine now, okay? I'm going to roll my dice with champion KCP, who hit big shots in big moments in that playoff run. And I'd rather have another, big in there that could do some of the dirty work, that could take some charges, that can play some defense. I'm going to go with Montrezl Harrell. So I guess I'm leaving out Dennis Schroeder out of the closing 5 right now. That's where I am on the closing 5. All right, let's see what Laker fans think. Jay Hyde, Caruso, KCP, LBJ, AD, and Montrezl Harrell at the 4. Okay, me and Jay Hyde are on the same here. Dan Inspiration. Caruso, KCP, LeBron, AD, and then goes Schroeder or Kuz. Okay, Dan, we get 5. Can't have you list out 6. What do you want me to do with this 6th player? All right, so he doesn't have Montrez in that. Okay, let me read off a couple more here. O.C. O'Neal, Caruso, LeBron, AD, and Trez. O.C. O'Neal is going with 4. O.C. O'Neal is only going with 4 guys. He's not giving me 5. He's just giving me 4. Dennis says depends on the matchup. I know that. Dennis. Work with me here, buddy. Work with me. Anthony Castro says Kuz, not KCP. I got to be honest. There's times that I could see the Kuz part in. And Kuz, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw it. I retweeted this yesterday. Let me actually find it real quick. I don't know if you guys have heard of this website. It's called Twitter. Let me put out what Kuz put. So there was a play yesterday. %, can't find it. 100% cannot find it. I think Spectrum put out a video, and Kuz was D'ing up Trae Young, like fantastic defense by Kuzma. And, for a full possession, just fantastic defense. And I think Kuz put something out. I thought Kuz can't play defense or something along those lines, or Kuz doesn't play defense, something along those lines. So, but Kuz is just too inconsistent for me to say, all right, let's close out the game. All right. Idri Ali says Schroeder is clutch. You can't leave him out. So who are you leaving out then? I want Caruso on the defensive side, and he makes winning plays. I want KCP in there. So that's a tough one. All right, I'm going to read off one more of these. Baldi Abdul, LBJ, AD, KCP, Trez. and Dennis Schroeder. So he takes Caruso out. We could do this all day. So obviously, a lot of options for the Lakers. Let's just put it that way. A lot of options for the Lakers. By the way, appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We do this, what's today? Tuesday. So if Lakers don't play on Monday, it's Monday night. If Lakers play Monday, then we do it on Tuesday. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Okay. Let's, by the way, it's a quick little announcement here. So the station, we're shifting some lineups here. So I'll keep doing pregame, halftime, postgame show. Do pre with Michael Thompson. Love doing it. Actually, I'd love doing anything around the Lakers broadcast. Still do Lakers Talk Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m. Do this social show. Scott Kaplan, who was doing the evening shows, is going to actually come down, and he's going to join Sedano and LZ. So they're going to be doing their show 4 to 7 p.m., but that's going to be a three-man show now. In the evenings, Travis Rogers and myself will do evenings 7 to 9 p.m. So if there's no Lakers game going on or there's no Lakers talk, Travis and I will do a show together. So looking forward to that. That's going to start next week. Next week, actually, I think February 11th will be our first show. Travis, a good dude. So I'm looking forward to working with him. Kind of a pro's pro. So I'm looking forward to doing the show with him. Okay, let's keep going here. So you got the Clippers, the Utah Jazz, and the Denver Nuggets that make up, I think, that second tier right after the Lakers. Okay. And if you don't want to give Clippers credit, you don't have to. But Clippers, they got a squad, so let's stop pretending that they don't have a squad. They do. Michael always says, "Well, what does it matter if they can't win in the playoffs? So why should we give them any credit?" So earlier today, the Brooklyn Nets beat the Los Angeles Clippers. Can I name any other random Nets? Who's that big dude with the Nets? Who's that random big dude? Impossible that I'm going to get his name. Impossible. But Nets obviously took care of business. Somebody's asking me, did you forget about roll call? Bro, rewind the show. We did roll call. But you can tell me where you're tuning in from. So this is my question for Laker fans out there. Lakers got Denver coming up on Thursday. Are the Nuggets the second best team in the Western Conference? Basically what I'm saying is Lakers are expected to get back to the Western Conference Finals. Are they going to be playing the Nuggets again? Or is it the Clippers? Or is it the Utah Jazz that, have played some fantastic basketball so far this year? Remember, Lakers have only played, of those three teams, they've only played the Clippers. That was the first game of the season. Lakers lost. So right now, one of these 6 losses for the Lakers is against the Clippers. We'll get Denver coming up on Thursday. And there's no update. I haven't heard anything. I know the Pistons and the Denver game was postponed yesterday. And that's the next 2 opponents for the Lakers. Lakers got the Denver Nuggets coming up on Thursday. Then they got the Pistons coming up on Saturday. So from what I know, everything is all still a full go. So second, are the Nuggets the second best team in the West? Let me read off some of these. Sam Bowie. That might have been the one I was thinking of. No, it wasn't. Definitely wasn't the one. Somebody's already called me out in Echo Park, telling me that they'd smoke me. Bro, not tonight. Okay? Not tonight. It's my off day. Today's a Laker off day, okay? Keith Van Horn, that's a solid one. Jason Collins, that's a good one. Okay, so I got Dan Inspiration saying Jokic is scary. Phil 14 saying Utah is overrated, okay? I don't really think they're overrated because nobody really talks about them. Wouldn't they only be underrated? The only reason why we're having a chat is because literally if you look at the NBA standings, they're atop of the Western Conference. So because they're atop the Western Conference, that's why you got to kind of give them their respect. But I don't think anybody's overrating them because I don't think anybody's really talking about them. B-Rad G says they are definitely the second best. Joker is nasty. By the way, Jokic is, I think, almost averaging a triple-double this season. He's an MVP candidate. David Winters wants to trade for courtside Karen. Interesting move. Did not think of that. Did not think about that. Let's see if the Lakers, the front office, and Rob Pelinka will put some kind of move together before the trade deadline ends to see if they can get courtside Karen. Lakers wisdom. Lakers are going to struggle against the Nuggets. No Dwight Howard to defend Jokic. Guys, I'm going to fall into the same trap. Dan Inspiration, if playoff Jamal shows up, Nuggets second best team in the West. Dante92 is calling me out to the Mission Bay courts tonight. It's an hour and a half drive, Dante. It's an hour and a half drive. I have to pull over on the rest stop, sleep for an hour and a half. I fall into this trap. That the Clippers are still the second best team in the Western Conference. I fall into the trap. I fell into the trap last year. Last year I was like, oh, Jesus, got to watch out for the Clippers. This team's freaking loaded. That's going to be such a tough matchup against the Lakers. It's going to be a 7-game set. I fall into that trap. I did when we got Markieff Morris. I did feel a lot better because I did feel like Lakers now had the ability to kind of go up against Montrezl Harrell, right? They kind of had another guy that can go up against them. So I've still convinced myself that the second best team in the Western Conference is the Clippers. Now, the Clippers got to win in the playoffs, and they have not done that. So until it's proven, that's something that's always going to be left up in the air. All right, Jay Hyde, as of right now, Clippers second, Denver third. Okay. Laker fans, your chance. Lob in some questions. You got some questions? Throw them at me right now. You know how this works, Laker fans. I mean, when I'm done here, I have very, very specific things to get into. Got to go eat dinner. I got to watch Boardwalk Empire. I'm in the final season here. I'm in the stretch here, stretch run. I don't know what I'm watching next, by the way. I don't. I've gone over the last, I don't know how many months, Sopranos, The Wire, and Boardwalk Empire. Let's just say HBO is taking advantage of Sliwa right now. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We need a center. David Winters. By the way, I don't fully disagree with that. Yes, Lakers need a backup center. They do. They need a backup center. So they need another big man. I don't know how many minutes Gasol is going to give on a night-in, night-out basis. And it would be nice to have another big man. Montrez can only do so much. Montrez is not stopping Joel Embiid. Montrez is not stopping Jokic. Just doesn't have the size. Now, Montrez can do a lot of other things. That's going to be obviously AD's roles to stop those guys. But it would be nice to have, through the first 3 quarters that you have another big man that you could bring in there just to give you 10 to 15 minutes a game. So I don't completely disagree on having another backup big man. Okay? I had a caller actually call in. He had a really good point. He said, I got faith that Pelinka will address whatever needs to be addressed because he's done it this entire time that he's been with the Lakers. Okay. Why is Batum playing like a superstar? To be honest with you, I have not seen Batum's numbers. I haven't really paid that much attention, but I will tell you this. Batum was a solid player. Remember him in Portland? And now he's, the 5th, 6th best player on the Clippers? So Batum's a vet. He's been there, been doing it for a long time. Okay. Sliwa predictions for the next home games. We got 5 home games. You want my predictions? I'll tell you guys right now. Denver, Detroit, OKC, Memphis. I'll go 4-1. 4-1. Lakers will drop a game. They'll beat Denver. I'll say they lose the game against Memphis. Get overconfident. Feel good about themselves. But they'll beat up on Detroit. They'll handle OKC and Oklahoma City. I'll say 4-1. 4-1. All right? That's what I got there. If I'm wrong, we just erase the tape. It's the internet. Just take it right off of the internet. Jazz or Nuggets? God, that's a good question. By the way, how good of a series would that be? Jazz Nuggets went 7 games last year. Remember, it came down to 1 bucket in the playoffs in the 7th game. So that's a great, great matchup. I'll say this, Jazz or Nuggets. Geez, that's a really good matchup. I'll go Nuggets. God, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a good question. Do me a favor. Don't ask tough questions. Okay, somebody's asking what's for breakfast. That's none of your business. All right, Joanna's birthday. Happy birthday, Joanna. All right. Jed, I hope they crush the Pistons. Little payback game there. Got a lot of people saying Nuggets over the Utah Jazz. Okay, let's see if we get one more in here. Okay, so a lot of people are asking me, who can you get in the market right now? Bronx, thank you for tuning in. Who can you get in the market right now? Who's available? To be honest with you, I think it's too early. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea who's on the trade market. I really don't know. So I don't want to, make any assumptions or anything like that. So just have to wait and see. The buyout market will eventually come later on. Look, Lakers, there's going to be players out there that want to come play for the Lakers. They want a chance at an NBA championship. And, I think internally with leaders like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, these are superstars, but they're also guys that people like playing with. So that's a big part to do with it as well. Okay, so Jay Hyde wants to know Kostas Antetokounmpo, his potential. Any thoughts? Can he be our center? I don't think so. I really don't. I think, he's so raw that if it wasn't for these expanded rosters, he'd probably be in the G League still working on his game. Okay, I think we are good. I think I got everything. Okay, I think we're good. Laker fans, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for being a part of Lakers Talk. So tomorrow, tune back in, 7:10 ESPN starting at 5 a.m. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, and Travis will get things started in the morning. Our next Laker game will be Thursday. I'm off tomorrow. You know what that means, right? When I'm off tomorrow, don't tweet me. Don't try to, hey, Al, what are you doing? Hey, Al, what's for dinner? Nothing tomorrow, okay? Nothing tomorrow. Appreciate you guys tuning in, all right? We'll get back with you guys. This is coming up Thursday. Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. We'll go from there. Appreciate the time.